guys, Jennifer McCune here, coming to you live today. Many of you might be interested in earning some extra holiday cash, and I think you have heard that I had earned this fantastic trip a couple weeks ago and met so many incredible women. And one of them I was talking to, and she started this business when she was super duper busy. I can't even believe. I'm going to bring her on now to share more of her story. Here she comes. Hey Meredith,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. So I just started sharing with people that who might be interested in earning holiday cash. I think your story is so perfect because so many people say they are too busy to earn extra holiday cash. They're so busy. And your story of when you started your side hustle is incredible. And I just thought it would be great for you to share a little bit more. You're full-time real estate agent working 60 hours a week, two-year-old twins home with you, and you're helping your husband with his business. How and why did you ever decide to start a side hustle as well? I mean, that's really incredible.
Sure. So I think for me, what was super important was the fact that you know I think diversification this day and age is super important. Um, with my husband and I both being a part of a really volatile industry. I mean, he was a builder, I was in real estate. Basically, all of our eggs or all of our irons, if you will, were in one fire, and I it never crossed my mind, honestly, because I thought we had great careers. We started our family and we were able to make it work. And, I was able to quote unquote work from home, but in real estate, you're on everyone else's schedule at the end of the day. And so it worked. But I guess I didn't know how it could have been better. I didn't know what else was out there. And then about 2009 for us here, I live in Bozeman, Montana, hit for us. And that was when the economic downturn started here. And so that was what, in all honesty, created a little bit of hesitation with my husband and I, just because we were tied to a horrible volatile industry that we had zero control over. And so we were looking for something, a plan B, to start that diversification, because we had started retirement, honestly, super late. We had a really good savings account, but honestly, if you know what hit the fan, that was only going to take us so far. And we tend to have a very cyclical cycle here in Montana, as far as going really hard and then, I would say, not a crash, but more of a plateau. And then there's a correction and all that kind of stuff. And so I was actually expressing my concerns to a real estate colleague of mine who also had a really successful real estate career. And she'd been with Rodan & Fields for about 6 months at the time. And she had kind of just put it in my ear. She's like, well, if you're looking for something, why don't you get information on Rodan & Fields? And I'll be totally honest with you, I didn't think that there was any weight. I didn't think you could build careers. I thought it was just going to be some sort of hobby. And honestly, the only reason why I looked into it was because, one, I respected her as, a former colleague and someone that I worked with a lot. And she'd actually been pretty successful with it. But I just didn't think that the kind of career and the kind of money that I wanted could be done in the direct sales industry. I was actually kind of a negative Nelly when it came to this industry, because I truly felt that you kind of had to lie, cheat your way to the top, only because I had been, that's how I guess I had felt with other companies, past companies. It could be an array of services or products that they offered, but that was just the feeling that I always got. So I jumped on a call. I basically got the information because I was like, well, I am looking for something. And I am a true believer that if you're presented with something and you're in that situation or that time of your life where maybe that could be something, is just to have an open mind. So I came to the call with an open mind. I got the information, and there was something about it that my business brain just started to kick in. I was like, okay, I have a recognizable brand. I have two doctors who are world renowned. Obviously the background of proactive, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it was something that overnight I kind of just jumped, in the sense of, I knew that if it was for me, great. And if it wasn't, at least I could say I gave it a go and it just wasn't a fit. And so, yeah, I jumped in, not really knowing or wanting to even really think about how I was going to do it with the lack of time that I did have. But I also knew that if I wanted a change, I was going to have to make a change, in some respect. So, yeah, that was actually February will be 8 years ago that happened.
That is incredible. And so you mentioned it a little bit, you know, negative Nelly about the industry as a whole. I think a lot of people have preconceived notions based on whatever, who knows what they are. Did you have any other hesitations that you were worried about or thinking about before you joined?
Sure. I would say one, hesitation of just the industry as a whole. But a lot of that was because I was uneducated, about the industry. The industry is a phenomenal industry. And so I went straight online, and it wasn't like, I was like, what are the bad reviews about Rodan and Fields or anything like that? I simply wanted to know about the industry, what it had created, what, you know, revenue wise. I mean, I just wanted all that education because I knew that that was probably going to be something that came up with other people. But my second probably biggest hesitation was time. I did not know where I was going to fit it in. At the time, our twins were 2.5. We've since added baby number 3. She's almost 6. And the twins are now 9. So it was something that I remember I put my order in, and I looked at my husband, who was a huge support system. I mean, he knows, he's a very savvy businessman. And what was funny is he almost was the one that convinced me of it, because he was like, you're telling me that you can partner with these 2 doctors? He's like, I even know what proactive is. I've never used it. He's like, but I know it's everywhere. I know there's a lot of people who use it. So you're telling me that you can partner with them and utilize all the hard work that they've done, but yet build a future potentially for us? He's like, you'd be an idiot to not try that. And I was like, okay. But I was like, my plate is so full. And it's funny because you hear this term now in Rodan and Fields that my husband actually coined, but he told me, he's like, I think you need to decide to get a bigger plate if you feel your plate is too full. And so I looked at him and I kind of was like, well, what exactly does that mean? And honestly, it just meant being super effective and efficient with my time, because once I realized how much small increments of time that I did have, that I was surfing the internet or Facebook or all these things, it tallied up to quite a bit of time that I could invest into Rodan and Fields. And honestly, when I first started, that was about 5 or 6 hours a week. But I joke that I did this in 15 to 20 minute increments in the beginning. But that's how effective, you know, it can be, for sure.
Isn't that fantastic?
But I would say
I love that.
Those were probably 2 of my biggest hesitations at the time.
That's fantastic. And I think so many people have that. You know, we're all busy. I mean, pretty much everybody I know is busy with a life. And then you think about it. If we really want something badly enough, we find the time to make it work. So if you want holiday cash, if you want to build yourself a different future, you're going to work it in, right? Yeah. That's fantastic.
Well, and I think the main thing that I now know of is, you know, busy is our new norm. I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom or someone who has a highfalutin, you know, corporate career. We're all busy doing something at the end of the day. We just have to make sure that what we're busy with is feeding us in some way, shape, or form. Because there's a lot of busy people out there that just don't get that at all.
That is fantastic advice. I love that. I'm going to quote that. Is your busy feeding you? Is your busy feeding you? I love that. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. So Meredith, you know, you far surpassed anything you made as a real estate agent. You're one of the top earners in the company. You've earned numerous fantastic trips. You've earned a Lexus. You have an incredible team. You've done just so many inspirational things. I completely look up to you and admire you.
Thank
On
you.
top of all of that, what would you say has been the best part or some of the best parts for you on this journey?
To be totally honest, I think that that's changed over the last almost 8 years. You know, in the beginning, I mean, it still is fun, but you know, the fun was the best part about it. And as my journey's progressed and as I've, you know, watched our organization grow into a massive amount of people, that's what the best part is it's the people. It's the people that I'm now connected with on not just hi, I'm Meredith, you know, I do Rodan and Fields, welcome to our team, or congrats on becoming a new customer. It is, I am now able to take that relationship one step further, that I may not have ever had prior to Rodan and Fields. And I truly think that this day and age, surrounding yourself with the people who do feed you, who feed your soul, your energy, all those types of things, that I think that's so important. And as we get older, for me, it's, I want to make sure that I'm surrounding myself with people who, you know, lift me up, as well as me be able to do that to them and provide that service and that support. But watching people make something of this that they would have never had before, whether that's they now aren't losing their home. Like, this is so much more than skincare. And to be able to be on their journey with them, to root them on, watch them step into that leadership and kind of step into their own greatness, truly for me is what gets me out of bed in the morning, knowing that we have something that can completely transform someone's life, whether it's through their skin or through their bank account. And that seems kind of cliche, but at the end of the day, that's truly what it is.
It is 100%. It's been so incredible to hear so many inspirational stories of people really, yeah, their lives being completely changed because they have confidence in their skin. They're not getting kicked out of their homes. They're able to take dream trips, be home with their kids who are sick. All of those. I totally agree with you. Well, thank you so much, Meredith. And you know, if you had one quick piece of advice, I'm going to just throw this out there. If anybody out there is thinking of starting a side hustle but has hesitations, what would you say to them? Because the holiday season can be tough. What would you say?
There's, in my mind, I would say there's a couple things. In my mind, anything that's delayed, I think Martin Luther King said it, if you delay something, you're actually denying it. So if there's a mental thought of, oh, I'll do it in the new year, or, oh, I mean, 6 months from now, 9 times out of 10, there's not going to be a lot of stuff that changes for you to make that time the right time. Secondly is to not overthink it. I think people have a tendency to overthink and overcomplicate. But if you're in the position where you're tired of having too much month and not enough money, if you're just exhausted at the end of the day because you're working 15-hour shifts, I truly believe people owe it to themselves to at least get the information, because that will help decide whether it could be a potential fit or not. You know, I truly believe that it does have to be the right time for people, but I do feel like that this is something for everyone. It does have to be the right time. And then lastly, I would say to kind of brush aside any preconceived notions, because at the end of the day, education is power. And so really knowing the nuts and the bolts about what this is, what we do. Again, there's a lot of stuff out there and people just automatically assume that we do X, Y, and Z, whatever that looks like for them. But really getting the true picture and really digging in, I think is super important to do. So I would say those are my three things.
Those are amazing. Such amazing advice. I totally agree with you 100%. And thank you so much for taking your time
Oh, you bet.
this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
You are amazing. I'm sure you help so many people out there with your story, and you're such an inspiration. Thank you for being in my life. I appreciate
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate you too.
Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye.